Welcome back to the Powercat Pregame Podcast, sponsored by our friends at Robbins Motor Company. We've entered the home stretch of the show. 2 segments down. Ryan Gilbert awaits to talk about the betting lines. 6 games around the Big 12 this weekend. We'll take a look at all of them. But first, before we get to that, remember we are sponsored by Robbins Motor Company, the dedicated team of automotive professionals at Robbins, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. We'll match you with a vehicle that suits your lifestyle and budget. Robbins Motor Company, title sponsor of the Powercat Pregame Podcast. Well, Avery Johnson lit a fire under K-State Nation following his performance at Texas Tech. It was something incredible. He had 5 rushing touchdowns, tying the school record held by his offensive coordinator, Colin Klein. After the game, we caught up to Avery Johnson down in Lubbock. Neither he nor Will Howard were available to the media at Tuesday's press conference. So let's go back to last Saturday when Avery Johnson talked about his performance in Lubbock, and then we'll get to our own Ryan Gilbert.
Did you know coming in you were going to play that much today?
No, I knew I was going to play a little bit, but I had no idea how much I was actually going to play. So that was all really a surprise to me.
Okay, so that was the most touchdowns by K-State freshman ever. You tied Colin for the most rushing touchdowns ever in a game. When you hear that, what's your reaction?
Really, it's just everybody here believing in me. Chose K-State, a while back, and it was really just because of the connections and the family that we have here. So just being able to go out and play for my brothers and be able to perform that highly, I mean, it's a great feeling.
Do you have a favorite touchdown from tonight?
The one where we were going down to the far end zone, and Ben Sinnott kind of puts the first guy on his butt and then gets up there and then blocks another guy, and then I'm just pretty much walking in because that's incredible what he did right there. So that's probably the one that sticks out the most to me.
How are you going to put into this performance into words in a couple of weeks when you can reflect?
Really, it's just kind of putting this one behind me and just getting ready for next week. We say it a lot, just having a neutral mindset and, coming onto the sideline. It's easy to get a big head after you score a touchdown and lose focus in the game, but we have a lot of good people on those sidelines telling us to stay focused. And when you have a lot of people supporting you like that, I mean, it's easy to just keep your mindset on the final goal, and that's just coming out with the win. So however we get it done each week, it doesn't really matter to me, just as long as we get that W in that win column.
Another true freshman coming along with you is Jace Brown. Just what is the growth you've seen from him at this point?
Say that again?
Jace Brown, what is the growth that you've seen from Jace?
That's literally like my best friend, man. Like we came in together, he didn't talk a lot, and you just kind of see him, just Florida guy, you're not used to Kansas. You just kind of see him settling in and just starting to have fun with it. And when you gain confidence in yourself and you start to have fun playing this game that we've been playing since we were really young. I mean, I love to see him succeed, and just I think all the coaches are seeing it too. As he's becoming more confident in the playbook and confident in what he's doing, really the sky's the limit for him. So he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he continues to keep his head down and work, and I think he could be really good for these years to come.
Avery, what did you do coming in to get ready for this so you could handle these moments as a true freshman?
Really, it's just before I even got to college, it's just my dad. I mean, he's always let me know to always have the most confidence in the world, and whatever situation I'm put in, I'm blessed and highly favored by God to be able to just go out and do what I really feel like he put me on this earth to do. So just a lot of confidence in myself. And when you have a great group of people around you, like I'm not just talking about, the Will Howards and Coach Klein and Coach Kleiman and like the people that, the whole world sees. I'm talking about like everybody in this program believing in me and being confident in me. It just makes my job easy. I just go out there and if I just do my job, I know the guy to my right and the guy to my left is going to do their job as well. So at the end of the day, it's just playing football. That's what I've been doing.
Last run, were you tempted to go for the touchdown? Or
of course.
Go down.
It was first down, go down, and I had, broke. And I mean, if I would have kept running, I probably could have just walked in the end zone. But it's really not about that. I mean, I'm a big Chiefs fan. I don't know if you saw in the Super Bowl, like Jerick McKinnon, he slides down at the 1 yard line, and that's the reason of the game. I don't know if me scoring a touchdown is the difference in this game or not, but at the end of the day, the coaches told me it's first down, go down, and it's do what the coaches say. So, I mean, I just wanted to get off the field with that W.
It looked like Will was giving you a lot of support on the sideline during the game. What was he telling you in those situations?
Really, like if you really get a chance to know Will, he's a great person. He's not only a great quarterback and a great leader, he's really a great person. And I noticed that when I first got here. Like, credit to him. He taught me everything I know. He taught me the ins and outs of the offense, helped me read coverages. I mean, when you come from playing Kansas high school football, you don't really see a lot of these different coverages. So just him being open, I mean, me asking how he preps for each week and kind of just getting into his back hip and just watch how he works and watch what he does week in and week out. He's been a really great role model to me. So coming off the sideline, like he told me a million times tonight how proud of me he was. And just, you know, whenever you score a touchdown, you come to the sideline, like he's grinning, he's giving me high fives, hugging me. Like, he's the type of person, he doesn't care how it's going to get done. Like tonight was my night, but at the end of the day, like he cares more about this team than anybody. And he just wants us to come out with a win. So when you get a great guy in the locker room like that everybody wants to follow, like I'll put my life on the line for that guy.
And there he is. It's Mr. Ryan Gilbert, fresh back from Kansas City, where he covered Big 12 basketball's media day for Jerome Tang and the guys. 3 players went up. How was Kansas City?
The Wildcats, right? It was good.
Yeah.
It was fun. Basketball season's here, man. I know we're in the thick of football season right now, but it was interesting to hear from coaches, players, and the new offense that they're going to be installing this season that's kind of being more publicized now. Exciting stuff, man. I can't wait to be out in Vegas for you, or Vegas with you, doing work for you.
That sounded bad, but we're going to go with it. We'll just leave it in there. Yes, you and I have volunteered to cover Kansas State against USC in Vegas because nobody else wanted to go, and we're
taking one for the team, right?
Yeah, the bad assignment nobody wanted. Let's get going with the games this week. 6 of them in total. The ones that jump out at me are the huge numbers for the 2 top teams, what are considered the top teams in the conference. Texas minus 23.5 at Houston. That's a lot of points for a road game. Is it right?
I think it's appropriate when you look at what both teams have done this season. Texas has been a dominant football team, and Houston's obviously got off to a pretty shaky season. So I get it. A couple things here, though. This game is in Houston, so I think that does favor the Cougars to an extent, right? And then you look at what Houston's done over the last 3 games. They've put up 36 points a game offensively, 0 turnovers altogether on offense. So no fumbles, no interceptions, nothing's gone wrong on the offensive side of the ball for Houston as of late. So I think TCU, boy, we're all out of wax today, aren't we? But I've been traveling. I deserve a pass, Fitz. But Houston's offense, I think, can keep up with Texas in this game. I really do. The defense, though, is where you're a little scared. I like the over in this game, 61. I think this game has the potential to be just an absolute Big 12 shootout. If I had to pick a spread, I'd go, Houston to keep this one within a few touchdowns. But I like the over in this game. I think both offenses are going to get it cooking.
I think that's good advice. You finally gave some good advice. Hey, Oklahoma is a 19-point favorite at home against UCF. Look, I until UCF shows it can stop the run, they're going to lose by more than 19 points.
Yeah, Fitz, I'll keep this one short and sweet. Oklahoma, not only are they undefeated on the season, the Sooners undefeated against the spread here in 2023. So I'll let the listeners do what they want with that.
Okay, I'm sure they will. Tech minus 4.5 at BYU. BYU just lost at TCU. We're building up to K-State TCU here. And Tech just lost at home to Kansas State. Now those 2 teams meet with Tech and a 4.5-point favorite on the road. A little bit surprised by that number.
Both teams coming off of a disappointing loss. And yeah, you mentioned it. These 2 teams aren't great, but you look at Texas Tech, there is some respect. There is money coming in on the Red Raiders, at least from Vegas. The fact that you're favored by more than a field goal, there is some respect there. And so we obviously watched Texas Tech last week, and we've got a good feel for that team. If Jake Strong is the quarterback, which I assume he will be on Saturday, let's be real here. The second half got away from him. He's a freshman, And so he had, 3, should have been 4 interceptions in that second half. But let's not forget here, I think it was the first or second drive in that second half, he led them to like a 99-yard touchdown drive, right? So
Yeah.
he proved that, he can be explosive. And I think a week off, now that he knows that he's the starter, I like Texas Tech in this game. I think that Strong is going to be more comfortable as the quarterback. And so BYU, man, that was just an absolute beatdown in Fort Worth last weekend. And so I'm going to go with Texas Tech in this game.
Very interesting. There's 2 close spreads here, and I think they both reflect home field advantage. Cincinnati plays host to Baylor, since he's a 3.5-point favorite. I don't know what to think of this game. I'll be real honest. I have no idea. Baylor, of course, stole that win at UCF with a big comeback. So I might lean into Baylor, but I still haven't got a full grasp on what Cincinnati's about.
Yeah. And what does that win for Baylor do? Obviously, you can look at that for every team in the previous week, but Cincinnati's lost 4 in a row. Tough to place any money on that team right now. So I'd got to go with Baylor, especially if you're getting 3.5 points. Give me the Bears, man. But I don't love it either way, but I just can't bet on Cincinnati here.
Another one very similar. West Virginia plays host to Oklahoma State. West Virginia, coming off a really heartbreaking loss, is a 3.5-point favorite at home against an Oklahoma State team that seems to have found itself in back-to-back home wins over Kansas State and Kansas. Again, Oklahoma State out on the road, I kind of want to see it to believe it, but I also am a little intrigued by this line.
Fitz, if I were to tell you that maybe the best game, you could probably throw out K-State TCU, but the best game of this slate, if I told you about 5 weeks ago it'd be West Virginia and Oklahoma State, you would have called me crazy, right? But these 2 teams are 2-1. West Virginia could easily be a 3-0 team in the Big 12 if things don't go crazy last week. And so this is an intriguing game. It really is. And Oklahoma State, we've obviously seen them this year. And so we're not going to have any West Virginia games for K-State this year. But we've seen Oklahoma State. Seems like that program has gotten turned around. However, I like West Virginia in this game. It seems like Oklahoma State's maybe outkicked its coverage just a little bit, playing with a little house money. I think they come back down to earth this weekend. Give me West Virginia.
Okay, from the mountains to the beautiful Flint Hills, Kansas State is a 6.5-point favorite over TCU in a renewal of the Big 12 championship game from a year ago. I think this is an interesting line. I think this is going to be a great game. What are your thoughts?
I think it'll be a great game too. If that's a nice indication to where I think my light just died.
That's right.
Well, we're going to get through this, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know what? You can blame Zach. We had to get the perfect lighting for the walk and talk here on that video from Kansas City. But I think this will be a real close game. Kansas State and TCU, this is sort of a brewing rivalry that we've got now in the Big 12. Fitz, I assume that you and Wally and Brian had outlined the quarterback situation here and the way that TCU can defend the quarterback run in a positive way, right? For TCU, it's hard to run against them. We spoke with Jeremy Clark from Horned Frogs Blitz, our 24/7 sports colleague, and he actually kind of believed the opposite. I'll let the readers view that on GoPowercats for our VIP subscribers, but he kind of said, hey, West Virginia was a team that ran all over TCU with its quarterback this season. And so I don't know, man, this could be a game where we do see Avery Johnson more than some fans are expecting. I think a lot of people are just saying, hey, it's going to go back to Howard for a little bit. We'll see, man. It's going to be intriguing. With regards to the spread, though, you've got to remember this is 2 teams. It's Kansas State and it's TCU. Everyone's focusing on the positives from that Kansas State game on Saturday, rightfully so. Avery Johnson looked amazing. He was phenomenal. But you've got to remember TCU coming off of a huge victory over BYU. They've got a new quarterback in there. And so both teams are riding high right now. Both teams are very confident. Should be a really good game. And so with that, I think it's going to be maybe a field goal at the very end for one team or another to go out and win this game. So even if K-State does escape with a victory, I like TCU to cover.
Very good. His name's Ryan Gilbert. He covers basketball for us primarily, but he's helping out in football, and he always helps out with our betting lines. And, of course, all of this advice is for entertainment purposes only. Make your own decisions, bet your own money, and lose it like I do. That's a disclaimer, Ryan Gilbert. You like the new disclaimer?
It was great. It was great.
I lose a lot of money, and
Don't we all?
I probably should listen to you more often, which is something I don't like to say in public. Thank
Don't
you,
do it.
buddy. That was Ryan Gilbert with our breakdown of all the betting lines and odds around the Big 12, a very entertaining slate of games. The big dogs in the league have some big point spreads. Now it's time to give this show a wrap up as we've finished everything except one thing, my one thing to watch. And it'd be easy here to pick the quarterbacks. I mean, seriously, it'd be really easy to pick the quarterbacks and say, watch that, how they use those quarterbacks. I'm going to go a little bit different, though. I want you to watch the line play for both TCU and K-State. Both of these teams thrive on dominating line of scrimmages, whether it's blocking for a running game or protecting their quarterback or flipping it over to a defense, being able to pressure the opposing backfield into some mistakes. The line play really will rule the day, because no matter how good Avery Johnson might be running the ball, if he doesn't get the blocking, it ain't going to work. So keep an eye on the big guys up front, see who's getting it done. And if K-State starts winning that line of scrimmage, I think they're probably going to win the game. It's K-State and TCU, 6 p.m. Saturday night at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. The game is on ESPN2. I'm Fitz for the entire GoPowercat gang, and I mean everyone. We appreciate you listening, and I hope you like the new format if you're watching on YouTube, as we continue to evolve our product and make it easy for you to consume. And of course, on Saturday night, I will see you at the Bill.